In June, we hit an all-time record for median sales price for Reno Sparks. Did we do that again in July? Well, we're going to dive in and take a look, and I will tell you, inventory is still down and homes are still selling faster than they did a year ago, but let's see how fast they're selling. Let's take a look. Diving right into prices, we did not beat the previous month's peak from June. For July, we ended up at $629,000. Now, I wasn't really anticipating us to necessarily beat out and make an all-time record again. And if you look back here on this, you can see that June to July of last year, it also went down. So usually right around June or so is kind of when we hit our peak for median sales price. So we didn't quite do it. We're still up there though, compared to where we were a year ago, and home prices are still up 5%. How quickly are homes selling? Well, you can see that they did jump a little bit, took a little bit longer from June to July, went from 15 to 21 days. Now that sounds like a big jump, but then you compare it to the same time last year, it jumped from 22 days to 30 days. So last year, same time frame, is taking 30 days for an offer to get accepted on a home on average, versus this year it was 21 days. So still 9 days faster than this time a year ago. Now, what price points did we see the most movement for speed to close? We did see a lot of these. Now, you'll see the white numbers or white bars there are for July, and then the gray bars are for June. And so month over month comparison, you saw a lot of them were kind of in the higher price point. So that 1 million to 1.5 million, we saw that jump up quite a bit. Now, that's usually anything over $1 million, we start to see more craziness in terms of change of numbers, just because there's a lot less sales. We usually see about almost half of all sales between $900,000 and $600,000. Between those price points, that's where 46% of our inventory lies. So that's what you don't see as much change in those ones as much, because we don't see as much sporadic. But we did see changes. That 750 to 999 was at 25 days to contract. So you can see most of them didn't change too much though. Taking a look at our sold listings, our new listings, and of course our inventory and how they're outpacing each other there, you can see that we did edge down a little bit on new listings. We didn't see as many new listings. We went from 545 to 530 for new listings, and we saw that sold listings drop down from 496 to 463. Kind of typical. We kind of hit that peak again in June, and we're starting to, everyone's getting on their summer plans in July. So we saw that, but we did see inventory edge up to 920 homes. Taking a bigger look at inventory though, that has been the conversation and what has been controlling our real estate market this year. And you can see that, compare that to a year ago. While we've been edging upward, you can see that a year ago, it peaked at 1266, so in July of last year. So it edged up last year as well, and last year, July was the peak. So is July going to be the peak this year of inventory? We're going to find out and see if it starts edging down for our August numbers. So we'll take a look, but you can see again, we are significantly less than we were a year ago. I mean, there's almost 75% of the homes this year that there were last year. Where are the homes available at? Maybe you're a buyer and you're wanting to take a look for homes out there. So what price points have the most options? Or maybe you're a seller and you're wondering how much competition there is. Well, taking a look, you can see again, the biggest chunk is that 600 to 750,000. That's where you'll see the most options at up to 232 homes out there, and it kind of goes from there. So that's definitely where we're seeing most of the homes. And look at that $300,000 to $400,000 price point. Only 22 homes out there currently for the month of July. By the way, if you haven't yet, make sure to hit that like button on this video. It really helps the algorithm push out this video to more people so we can educate everyone that's happening on the real estate market here in Northern Nevada. Back to it though, month's supply of inventory, that is what we when we see it go upward, it becomes more favorable for buyers. If we see it go downward, it's more favorable for sellers. And you can see that it edged up a little bit from 1.7 month supply of inventory to 2 month supply of inventory. So if you compare that to national statistics, I believe I was just reading for July, and it was, I think, right around 4.5 months supply of inventory. Don't quote me exactly, but it was a little over 4 months supply of inventory for the national statistics. So we are doing, that's more than double the month supply of inventory. So way more buyer favorable nationally versus here. We're definitely a little bit stronger, and a lot of that has to do with the inventory. Inventory is so much tighter here, and because our inventory is tighter, we're seeing, inventory hasn't changed too much nationally year over year versus us, we're down about 30%. Now let's see how we're tracking so far this year. We've been watching this just to see how we've been compared, looking over the last decade. And you can see our new listings, and this has kind of been the trend so far this year, been watching. We don't have as many new listings this year as we did last year, and that's what's kind of creating partially our shortness of inventory. What's also controlling our shortness of inventory is also our closed sales, because you can see our closed sales have been climbing again year over year. We are looking a lot stronger. We have more sales, yet less inventory. So we're kind of eating up that inventory as we don't have enough new listings hitting the market. But we have been edging upward, so that's good news. We're chasing back to that healthy market of where we were used to, whether pre-COVID or so. Now, pending sales is kind of our forecaster of where the market is going, how strong we're seeing things, and what we're going to probably see close for that next month. So what we're going to see probably for August closings. About the same, not too much from June to July. It went from 473 to 465. We saw the same thing last year, almost identical last year, but in terms of not a big change, but significantly more than last year though at the same point. So July, again, 465 homes sold versus same time last year, 392 homes sold. So significantly more activity this year versus last year. People are out shopping for homes. Now let's dive into all the hyper-local markets so we can see Reno, Sparks, Carson City, Fernley, and all the other markets out there. So let's start with Reno, $715,000. Now, while the Reno Sparks number that we kind of do as a metro didn't hit an all-time record high, Reno by itself, the City of Reno, did hit an all-time record high of $715,000. So that is up from last month, and of course up from last year, double digits. So we have seen that climb up, and you can see a lot of that is because that inventory is down, over 26%. So that is, again, what's driving these prices upward. We need more homes. So I know it kind of stinks seeing more and more stuff get built, but at the end of it, we need to have some more options for homes if we're going to keep these prices from going sky high. So as you can guess, since Reno went upward, Sparks went downward, and that's what took down the whole metro stat for the month over month. But you can see $565,000, so it was a 4% decrease from the previous month. But one thing I do want to point out is it is still up year over year, 2.7%. So we are seeing prices still, that's a little bit more of a healthier increase that we'd like to see, match that inflation line or so at least. But active inventory, we are down over 22% from last year, and we did see it climb up a little bit. Heading to Carson City, we saw prices there just dropped just slightly, $572,500, but look at that year over year, up 13% still. Inventory, there's 100 homes in the market in Carson City. That's down almost 20% from last year. Driving to Fernley, $413,500. We saw that drop down a little bit as well. But I just can't get over the year over year numbers for inventory. There's 52 homes on the market out there, and that is down 47.5% from last year. So we're definitely seeing, that big change there. And a lot of that is just those new listings. Only 39 homes came on the market versus 40 homes sold. So do the math on that, and it's not sustainable. Now let's go to Gardnerville and Minden areas. Just about $700,000 median sales price for there. That is up 4.5% from last month alone and almost 10% from last year. Inventory down 40% for that area, and that is, again, it's pushing up that stuff. So new listings, we saw 60 new listings and 44 closed sales there. We're going to close out with the Reno Sparks condo and townhome market, and you can see that we did see prices go up month over month and year over year. So up 11% year over year for condos and townhomes. This has been a market that has kind of struggled a little bit, in terms of not moving as quickly as you can see the days of contract is 28 days for a condo townhome versus, again, it was 21 days for a single family house, if you remember. So a little bit longer, about an extra week longer to get home condos and townhomes sold. We have 109 new listings hit the market with 118 sold though. So the sales are outpacing what's coming into the market. That did draw inventory down, and it's down over 42%. So one thing to take away from this market update is this. Inventory is down. We're starting to go into the seasonality of, the market not slowing down, but we're going to see less homes on the market, and we're probably going to see a little bit less buyer activity. So there are opportunities out there, whether you're looking to buy or sell. Let's talk about it and see if now's the time to make a move, or if we need to start planning for spring of next year. Believe it or not, that's something we should start talking about. So reach out to me if you have any questions, if you're thinking about that and want to sit down, or if you have any other ideas of market stats you'd like to see on this. I've got a few things I'm coming up with here down the pipeline. So be sure to hit that subscribe button. If you haven't yet, hit that like button as well, and I will see you next time. Thanks so much for watching.